What is going on, YouTube? Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to episode 6 of our AlltheMods10 playthrough. If you've been following the series, welcome back. I appreciate you following the adventure we've been on so far. And if you're new to the channel, welcome and thank you for watching. Feel free to check out the previous episodes to catch up on all the progress leading up to this point. In this episode, we're going to do some basic expanding underground, set up a Multiblock ME Controller that we'll use in the future, kill the Ender Dragon and Wither, make some more ME storage drives and an auto crafting setup, and start working on a mob farm. I'd like to thank you again for clicking on the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and any comment or feedback is greatly appreciated. Now let's get into the video. So the first thing we wanted to do was we figured out that we could make silicone seeds. So we decided to do that to kind of speed up our process so we wouldn't have to use any of our Certus Quartz dust anymore. After that, we wanted to progress a little bit more in the quest line, so we decided to make some factory augments for our furnaces to make them consume power instead of consuming fuel. Then we went ahead and upgraded our generator to a netherite generator. And as you can see, we were making silicon super quickly. I had some pillagers outside of the base making a whole bunch of noise, so I had to go take care of them real quick. And then it was time to start expanding our base, so we started digging down right in the middle, and we were going to make a massive hole. And this is what it looked like once we were finished digging everything out. I saw that we had enough templates for it, so I decided we could upgrade our armor and our pickaxe and our sword up to vibranium. And now we have armor and tools at the next tier up. Since we now have some upgraded tools and armor, I figured we'd go down to the nether and summon the Wither to start getting some nether stars. And we killed them a couple times. Went to the nether fortress to collect some more Wither skeleton skulls, and then went down to the library and found out that I could kill these ancient knights pretty easily, so I went out and wiped out as much of them as I could. After killing off those guys, I decided to take all these bookshelves, because why not? And above the library, I stumbled upon this big arena looking room where there was a bunch of ancient knights inside of. I'm not really sure exactly what it does, but it looked pretty cool, so I wanted to go check it out. We then had a rematch with the Wither and beat him pretty easily. And back in the overworld, I decided I wanted to use my infusion altar and move it in the space above that I had built when I expanded my base the first time. And then it was time to go back to the end to face the dragon. I ended up running into some sort of bug where the Ender Dragon was still able to heal after I destroyed all of his little things, but we ended up killing him anyways and collecting his egg. After we collected the egg, it was time to go back to the overworld. I placed down his trophy as a piece of decoration for the house. And placed down the dragon egg right next to it. I wanted to then throw some enchantments on my tools and on my armor to kind of upgrade a little bit. And then I wanted to get started on building our Multiblock ME Controller to use for the future. So we had to make a couple more logic processors and a couple more calculation processors as well. Then we started digging out the space that we wanted to use to build the ME controller. We crafted up some more engineering processors. And we got started on building our ME controller. I will definitely be making a lot of use to this multi-block structure in future videos. So if you have any questions about why I'm building this, you will see probably in later videos, but I will heavily rely on this for the storage and for the autocraft setup that we're going to build. So for the autocraft setup, we had to make some blank patterns, some ME pattern providers, some molecular assemblers, some crafting co-processing units, and we had to make some 256K storage components. And we also could use the excess to upgrade our ME storage drives, so I decided to craft as many as possible, and I ended up getting 24 of them. And I needed 8 for the autocraft setup, and the rest I just used for the ME system. So as you can see here, there's the 256K crafting storage. And we crafted a bunch more 256K item storage cells. We were then going to need some dense cabling. And then we started building the auto crafting setup. We then hooked everything up with the dense cable below because I didn't want the cables to be exposed. And then we wanted to get started on our mob farm, so we had to build a bunch of these entity conveyors. We had to build this mob masher. And we placed the mob mashers down on top of these redstone blocks. I realized that we needed a little bit of lapis, so I decided to just make some seeds for it to make it so we don't have to go out and mine them manually. And then we needed a ton of swords for the sharpness upgrades and the looting upgrades as well for the mob mashers. And we filled them up as much as we could. We then placed down this diamond backpack as we would use it with the magnet upgrade to pull all of the items into it. Then I realized we were going to have to get a lot more into the Just Dire Things mod in order to finish this mob farm. So I decided to call it for the night and finish up tomorrow. Alright, so the next day what I wanted to do was go back to the dungeon that we visited in one of the earlier episodes to collect some spawners. I wanted to collect a couple different types for the mob farm, specifically the ender and the wither skeleton ones, because I know that I'm going to need a lot of ender pearls, and I'm also going to want to summon the wither a lot, so I wanted to have a lot of wither skeleton skulls as well. We got the basics set up outside of our mob farm, and we also picked up this shrinking necklace from the dungeon that we went in. I started placing down some of the spawners. And realized I was going to need some sugar, so I started making a basic vanilla sugarcane farm. I then started crafting some nether star seeds. And then shortly after realized that to actually plant the seeds, you need the nether star crux. I did a little troubleshooting as far as collecting XP for the mob farm, and created a blacklist of all the items that I actually wanted to keep, and the rest of them I was just routing to a trash can. I routed that back up to our ME system using a sender, and then started diving into just dire things for another item that we needed. So we got our Primagel goo crafted, and we placed it down and fed it some rotten flesh. However, it wasn't doing anything, and I realized I needed to place coal blocks next to it for it to actually work. I then carved out some space to put our ME drives for a later time, and when I went back up, our Primal Coal was grown. I had to take a trip back to the nether because I wanted to look around for some nether wart. I ended up finding some in this barrel very quickly. And I boxed up some more spawners for the farm. Once I had the nether wart, I was able to craft the Blaze Bloom goo. And I put that down and put some gold blocks next to it and fed it some blaze powder. Once that was finished up, we got our raw blaze gold ore. Which we then smelted down into ingots. And then we were able to craft our experience holder. We placed that down at our mob farm. Spent some time playing around with the configurations. And we placed down our extra spawners that we collected in the nether. I stopped back by the sugarcane farm just to harvest up what we had collected so far. And I was getting tired of all the mobs spawning down in the basement area, so I started placing some torches. Alright, so the next thing that I think we want to do, now that we got our experience farm set up, is start setting up our massive ME controller so we can start hooking up things to it wirelessly, and also move our ME system down below to these squares here. And in order to do that, I think we're going to need a lot more power. So I'm going to, I don't know how much more of these solar generators I'm going to want to use, because this ME controller down here sucks up an insane amount of power. So I think that we can maybe use the generators and see how well they work for now. And then if they're not enough, then we can find another source of power. Because right now, a lot of them are still doing okay. However, we are going to start using a ton of power once we get everything set up. And there's a couple other things I'm going to want to do as well. A lot of moving around of stuff. So I think, so everything ME related, I believe. So like the storage drives themselves, I think are all going to go down below, but we're pretty much going to leave the majority of this stuff still up here. It's just all going to be connected with a wireless cable. So in order to build this ME wireless connector, we're going to need some extended machine frames, the dense smart cable, wireless receivers, and wireless boosters. So it's a good thing we have a lot of this intro now, because we can start making this into ingots. I believe we need the dust for it. Oh, how do we make the ingots? I don't remember. Oh, we have to put the dust in with gold and lapis. So we have plenty of all that stuff. Just need to crush some of that down. And we can see that's going in. And we're gonna need gold and lapis. So let's make some more. So we're gonna take our intro. We're going to take our lapis and we're gonna take our gold. We're gonna throw it into the crystal assembler. And it looks like we're missing something here. So we need water. So let's grab bucket and we can right click that. And we can just leave those in there and grab the intro dust as it comes out. And we're gonna need a lot of these ingots, so we might as well just leave those in there. So let's actually, just for a little bit, what we're gonna do is auto feed the intro crystal into the system just so we can make a bunch of these intro ingots and I'll have to worry about them later. And that should be pulling out. Yep. We can make a bunch more of this crystal. Very happy that we got the seeds for this, or else this would be taking absolutely forever. I'm not sure what we use this experience for. I got a seed for it, but I haven't actually found what it goes to. I'm gonna try to figure that out. So use that with a bottle to make a bottle of enchanting. Fair enough. So I guess we can use our bottles for that now. Looks like we got a bunch of bottle of enchantings. And it looks like we need more water. I think after just a little bit longer, we'll shut that off. Alright, and I honestly feel like that will be enough for now. We have 312, so we'll let's go ahead and take this out. Let that finish up. Throw these buckets back, and don't need that anymore. Go to the connectors. So now we're gonna need wireless receivers. Alright, so let's first craft these. Let's do like 30. And then we need dense smart cable. So let's make as much of this as we can. And don't have any wool, but we should have a good amount of string. Just make that, make those, and make those. Now we just need some of that quartz fiber, a couple of those fluid pearls, make some of those, make this wireless access point, which we'll use in a minute, and then make some wireless boosters, which we need ender dust for. So let's craft these, and then let's do a little bit more farming. And we'll definitely upgrade this farm later, but for now, I mean, this is good enough. This will suffice for the time being. Make a couple more ender pearls, and I think that's plenty of dust for now. So we'll go ahead and stop that. We'll make some of these cards, just make a stack, and that should be everything we need. So now we just take machine frames, dense cable, 16. Oh, we have more. We take the wireless boosters and the wireless receivers, which we already have. So now we just take that. Let's drain this fluid a little bit. All right, the fluid's drained out. Now we can just take all this stuff, throw it in. And I'm not sure how many of these we'll need exactly, so I just want to make a bunch. We'll claim up some of these quests, throw this stuff back in. Probably won't use that book. And now we have 60 wireless connectors, which is going to be more than enough for now. Just going to grab some cable now. And what we need to do after we sleep is we need to route power to our ME controller, and I just want to see how much it really consumes. So it looks like, I think what we'll do is have this go how far up, and what we'll need to do is connect that down here and watch it suck up all the power in our power grid. So let's see how we can do this. So we'll need some cable, basic cable. We'll need some alloys, each of these. Make that cable, and then come down here. We will hook this up to power. See that it's lighting up. Create our lines. We'll go up top and make sure that nothing needs anything over here. Looks like there is one more. So we'll go ahead and just upgrade that line. And it looks like it's still going up. So I think we're going to be able to sustain that, which will be absolutely awesome. It's always that's been a problem that I've had before, was my power grid not being able to sustain the power from the ME controller. So what we need now is a wireless setup kit, and to get this we are going to need a matter condenser, or we can build a reaction chamber, which I think the reaction chamber is a bit overkill. So because we can build this matter condenser now, so let's build that and we'll see what we can do with it. So it looks like we need components, but we don't have any. Looks like we're out of logic processors, so let's just make some of those real quick. Shoot, don't want the essence, I want the actual redstone. All right, now let's make a couple of these. Looks like we don't have enough redstone for that. Got 5,000. Should be enough to make us at least one. It looks like we're gonna have enough for 3 of these. Be nice. Put this up here. And honestly, what we can do with this is take out this magnet, pick up this stuff, have all of this stuff feed into, so let's fix that real quick. We can have it so we can make these singularities. Let's see, we don't even need a modular path. Let's make all this, make some of these, maybe we'll have it feed into the matter condenser. I think that polar module there, some speed upgrades, some stack upgrades, pull from down, add the upgrades, and now all of that trash that we filter out from our mob farm will go into here and go into to make singularities. So let's make this singularity real quick. So we're just gonna AFK right here till we gather up some XP and are able to get one of those singularities. Let's see if we can change that to the 64. Maybe that will go faster. And what we'll do while we're down here is start placing these connectors all over this, and we'll just see how much we can fill up. I think we crafted maybe too many, but better to have more than to have less. Oh well, we will need, let's take out these middle ones, because we will need one. So we'll need one here, there, power both of these, and then we'll also need one up here. Let's see what kind of joke we can put in here. So I think what we can do with this is make an export bus that will pull out different essences. Probably don't need a lot of that glowstone, skystone, nether quartz, obsidian. So let's do this. Now that paired with, so let's see, I'm trying to see what the fastest way I can do this is. We condense them into matter balls. That might be the fastest way to do. So we're gonna need to build this reaction chamber, which we should have just about everything for. So we just need a furnace and an energy acceptor. We can make the vibration chamber and the reaction chamber. Set that down up here. One of these export buses. It's okay, because we're gonna move some of this stuff here pretty soon. The acceleration cards in the reaction chamber, and then we just need to make these matter balls and fuel it with lava. So don't know where all of our buckets went, but let's go grab some lava. Looks like we have enough to make a couple of those. Let's go grab some lava and we'll be right back. Just throw some lava, and this needs power, it's saying. So let's maybe take our cable and alloys and route that into there. And that worked. So now upgrade. And we got 3 singularities now. Find out what we use the rest of those for later, but for now we just need wireless receiver, which thankfully we have another one. 2 iron ingots, a calculation processor, and a singularity. So we need 2 ingots, a calculation processor, and our singularities. Now we just take that, put it into the crystal assembler. We got our setup kit. So now that we have this, what we can do is, instead of having to run cable from the ME controller to the autocraft setup, what we can do is we'll shift right click to clear the setting. We'll right click the wireless connector and we'll right click it onto something in here. And now that said device online, and now you can see that these molecular assemblers and pattern providers are all online, except for this one. Did I do the cabling wrong? I missed one. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we missed one. All right, so let's fix that. But we're gonna need some more wool. So let's get some of that and make some of these, and some of these. So we can connect all this stuff, and we're gonna need a lot more string. So we might AFK some more at our mob farm to get, basically we're just gonna bring this down, connect that, and now those are online. And we'll just cover this back up because we probably won't need to come down here again for a while. And we'll cover up this as well. And we'll do the same thing for this one. So we'll clear the setting, we'll right click this wireless connector that's connected to all of these crafting storages. We'll come in here and we'll right click it on there. Now it's online and connected. Now these you can see are online and they're lit up. So now we are able to use our auto crafting. So we just need to make some patterns and we'll be good to go. And the next thing I want to do is move our ME drives down here. So what we're going to do is, that's 1 block in, so I want this to be 2 blocks in. We're gonna place, how that will work. So we're gonna want this to be here, here, and we'll have it go down to there. And we're gonna have a connector here. So that will be 1. We'll need 1, 2, 3. Actually, I think how we'll do it is like this. Is we'll go from the bottom. 1, 2, 3. So we need 8 more. So let's AFK at the farm for a little bit longer. All right, so let's see how much stuff we've collected. Got 18 more wool. So let's see. Honestly, we don't need these anymore. 22 of those. I think we're gonna need 24. So what we can do, boom, 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 2, 3, and we just need 2 more, and then we'll be able to have this all connected. So we just need a little bit more string. So we should have more than enough now to craft up the rest of these, and that will give us the last 2 that we need. Now we just go 1, 2, and now for the fun part, we can, let's connect this. Shift right click to clear the setting, right click on this. So now that's connected and we can cover this up. That will be hidden behind there. Now what we can do is sleep, keep our power going, and we can, let's take all this out of there. So now I want to do this quickly, but we can take all of these drives, start, we'll do that. So now what we have to do quickly is fill those drives back up, and as we can see, our mystical agriculture farm is filling up that chest pretty quickly. So now what we can do is we will place a connector. In theory we shouldn't even need this terminal, so let's take that away. We'll take our connector. I believe if I do this right, I should be able to, let's actually put it right here for a second. Clear the setting, right click that, click it onto here. Now I believe that should, and yep. So I do want to put this down 1 block and kind of reorganize this whole setup. So I think what we'll do is, yeah, we'll reorganize all this power, all this fun stuff. So we'll need some Fluix cable, Need some regular cable. So let's move all of this fun stuff around. All right, so we cleaned it up a little bit, and this is kind of what we got. So basically all of our applied energistics systems are all on this left side over here, and then everything else, pretty much our mechanism, Ender IO, our player transmitter, are all on the right side. And that's kind of just so we could cover up and run the cable to about here. We connected everything we needed to connect the power, and we just used a little bit of less cable. We have 8 left over, so we did that, and then we used the Fluix to kind of connect and put the import and export buses where we needed them. And now we are pretty much all set. I think the last thing I'm going to do is attach some import buses to the circuit slicer and crystal assembler, and then I'll pretty much be... And yeah, I think that is where we will call it. Actually, before we call it, I think the last thing I want to do for this episode is build all of the ME drives for this and have them all connected. And we built way more than we needed. I didn't actually think we would have all the materials for that, so set all these up. And now we can see these are all placed in and they're all online. So now all we have to do is fill it up with drives. I think what we want to do is move all of these to the top right like that. Move all of these, and all of these. And what we'll do is we'll take this drive, feed it through our IO port, just so we have everything condensed into this first set of drives here. And we'll go ahead and just place this wireless access point down for now. We haven't built the card yet for it because we're gonna need some more nether stars. And then I think the next episode, what we're going to primarily focus on, I think we're gonna just do an episode solely based on getting our wireless universal terminal and our dimension card, and then setting up our auto crafting. And then we can, I think from there, what we'll do is we'll just start progressing. We'll go to the tree and kind of just get as much of this stuff done as we can and just use that, because I think this is gonna be pretty fun. We're gonna have to dive into a lot of different things, but I'm here for it. So just to summarize everything we did a little bit, we dove into the Just Dire things and got this Primagel goo and this Blaze Boom goo. We reorganized our setup in our house. We started making use of these ME wireless connectors. We got our massive ME controller set up and started using the wireless connectors in here to connect to things out here. We built 32 of our ME drives that will eventually put storage cells in. We finished building our mob farm that still needs to be upgraded, but we finished the basics of it and got all of the drops going to either our ME system or to turn into singularities as trash, so they're not just going to complete waste. And we got our auto crafting connected and online. We just need to make the patterns and fill it up with some acceleration cards, and that will be good to go. And we got to kill some bosses. But we're gonna wrap things up there for this episode. I do want to thank you guys again for watching. Please encourage you to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you have any questions or if there's anything you want me to explore next. Again, if you want to see all the progress we've made up until this point, please go check out the other videos on my channel. I want to thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.